Lock the door, light the candles, turn the music on. Let the world spin round without us so we can be alone.
What you're looking at is the newest single from Canadian singer-songwriter Peter George Hanson, and he has an incredibly unique story. He's an accomplished doctor specializing in treating pain without prescription drugs, and he also wrote a best-selling book on the topic of stress. We want to welcome Peter George Hanson to our city tonight.
Thank you for having me. Nice to see you.
We are thrilled. Well, you've helped treat a lot of my pain, but we're not going to talk about that. You're wearing a different hat today, being the entertainer at heart. You've performed comedy. You've had your own radio show and syndicated.
Short attention span, I think, helps a lot.
No, we want to jump right into, because your newest song, Maybe Baby, it's hitting up high there.
It's been a real surprise hit. It's on YouTube now. We've had 43,000 hits in just the first 3 weeks, and it's just come out of nowhere. So it's been really very gratifying.
Wow.
We recorded it here in Vancouver at Bryan Adams' warehouse studio, and that's where I did the vocals. The rest of it, the musicians were picked from the best musicians in Nashville, Los Angeles, and Toronto. We've got all kinds of top players.
Wow.
And it's been a real experience overall.
No kidding. Well, you are a prolific songwriter. I've listened to quite a few of your songs, but I love how you say that you have a completely different view in how you can write your songs, because you've been around so many people. Can you share that, why you are able to write so many songs?
A lot of people think it's a different thing when you are in medicine and then meeting people all at that level and then also writing songs. It's actually very much interconnected. Billy Joel, for example, was a lounge piano player when he was just getting started, and most of his hit songs came from the stories of the people that would frequent his piano, and he got to know them, like Cheers, and you get to know all the characters. Well, the same thing applies in medicine. It's not a divulging of any patient's personal information, but piecing together stories. This one had been ghosted when they were trying to date. This one had the one love slip away. This one had something else happen, and the stories build, and you get to know them, and then that gives great material for writing music. And so each song has its own story. It's not about one person, and it's certainly not about me. It's just the song just arrives, but it's all pieced together from this way. And it's a real, it's like a gold mine to have all these nuggets of information come from patients and different twists on things, but it keeps it real. So the audience then says, yeah, I've had that feeling, or I know somebody who's done that, rather than just wallpaper music or elevator music. There's no point.
Well, I've listened to your songs. In fact, you have a very different musical style, because you cross all of the genres: country, blues, rock, even pop and reggae. So tell us your early inspirations.
The early inspirations, I guess, when I was first having guitar lessons here in Vancouver as a 7-year-old, when my grandmother gave me my first guitar, I was listening to Hank Snow, one of Canada's great original country singers, and that was a big influence. Patsy Cline and Willie Nelson, and of course Gordon Lightfoot and Ronnie Hawkins were two of my very close influences. I got to know Gordon Lightfoot quite well, and his two guitar players were my instructors when I was living in Toronto. So I was backstage a lot with him and with Ronnie Hawkins, and met all of the big stars up here in Canada. Then also down in the States, when I lived down there for a time, I got to know the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band guys, and they were very influential as well in my background music. But every time I would go to bed at night, it would be like I was hearing a noise coming through the window. A neighbor's radio might be playing one song, and I would start to write it down, thinking that's a good song, and then I'd realize it's my song. It was just that it all arrives at once. Sometimes it's a bit like delivering babies, which I've also done hundreds of times. But in delivering babies, some of them just pop right out, and some of them are a bit of a struggle, and some of them require a cesarean section, whatever. It's like that with music. Sometimes the whole song just pops right out at you before you know, top to bottom, not a word needs to be changed. And other times it requires thought and editing, and let's put it in the bottom drawer. My wife Lisa has been very helpful in editing a lot of the songs as well, just to sort of give me some feedback as we go. So it's very much the same idea. And like giving birth to something that has meaning, you want the songs to be intelligible with the storyline, that people can understand the lyrics and all of that, rather than just yeah sort of stuff in the background. So, but each one has its own style. Some blues, some country country, some reggae, some whatever it might be. And it's been a real journey. And we've assembled an amazing cast of artists. We've got several different artists. We have over half a dozen different singers other than me singing some of my songs, because some are just perfect for a torchy blues barroom singer, female vocalist. We've got that. We've got some of the most amazing pop singers. We've got one of the backup singers for Joe Walsh from the Eagles, and Lois Mahedi is just an amazing stellar soloist. We filmed every one of them as a video on YouTube now, so that you can see the scenery of Vancouver, for example, for several of the songs, and it's been a real journey. It's been a lot of fun.
I bet. And you mentioned your wife, Lisa. She's an accomplished orchestral musician already. So
she's a real musician.
Yeah,
yes, So she really knows what she's doing. I actually don't read music at all. I barely read cartoons, but the real musicians are the ones who do the arrangements. Like Lisa does the editing. She knows how to play professionally, and has been a huge inspiration to try and keep it as high quality as we can.
Wonderful.
But when we go into the studio with the musicians, they write their own parts. Like I don't know how to write music for a different mandolin, for example, or for banjo, or for whatever. That's a different person that does that. And in this case, these musicians come with that already wired in. So you just play it once and like, you mean like this? And then, boy, is it ever great. So it's been really fun to do that. Great to work live with them.
So if you were to give some advice to a young singer-songwriter starting out, in you saying you don't read music and that, what would you say catapulted you into the great success you were having already?
I think it's just having the ear and the eye for it, basically sort of knowing what sounds or seems right, and then if it's presented properly and it tells a story. But in the end, like my wife Lisa always says, she wants music to mean something and make people feel something, rather than just be background and you chat right over top of it. So we want it to touch people. And if you have a message that does that, rather than just trying to think of a rhyme, it has to also have a resonance as well.
Wonderful. Well, that sounds great, so people can just feel with their heart and write with their heart makes the most sense. Well, your latest dozen releases, they're getting some great attention, and currently you've got lots of viewers from YouTube, Spotify, and
it's
you're
on all the platforms
all
now.
the platforms.
And it's all available out there. So it's being launched right here. The first video that's been seen by anybody is here on your show.
Oh,
thank you very much.
That's great. So so they can find you at Peter George Hanson?
Yeah,
Is that
you have
the
to
easiest?
use the George. There's a Swedish golfer named Peter Hanson, so if you use that, you'll just get a golf lesson in Swedish.
Okay.
And so I use my middle name, George. So if you go to Peter George Hanson, you'll find it. It's Hanson, of course, and you'll find it on all the platforms.
That's
fantastic. Hope you enjoy.
Well, not only is he an amazing singer-songwriter, he is also an amazing doctor. And so thanks for being on the show. And we've got Lisa in the background there giving some support.
Thanks for having me. Indeed, it's been just great. Great to work with you.
Thanks,
as always.
Peter.
Yeah.
You're
This segment was sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.